So in this lesson, you're going to learn how to make a easy gradation, easy gradient effect, or a fade. And the trick with this technique is going to be in using additives or pigments. These are by C&D, and you can see they say additives, pigment effect. As soon as I focus in, you'll see that. We're going to use in this short video a few colors that I really like. A mauve, a gold, and an emerald. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the gold. Very important though, you'll need a makeup brush because you're going to be using glitter and you don't want to contaminate any other of your good brushes. So a makeup brush, this is one by ELF, E-L-F. It's very inexpensive, like $3, and you can find it anywhere, Target, eBay, Amazon, anything online. Very inexpensive brush to use with glitters. Here are 3 colors. I'm gonna start with gold. I think this might be your favorite. It's going to be the most pigmented in my opinion, and there is a technique to doing these effects, these gradient effects with the pigments. You want to saturate the tip first. Don't go anywhere before you saturate the tip first. And the second tip in doing this type of fading or gradient effect is to use what you already have at the tip and disperse it upwards. Don't pick up any more glitter or a pigment from the container to add it to your fading effect. Pick it up from the tip and move it upwards towards the cuticle area. If you feel like you're running out, put some on the tip and again disperse it towards the cuticle area. Do not pick up pigment from the bottle and then into the middle section or anything like that, because your gradation or your gradient effect is not going to be balanced. And you see it's a very thin application. Because it's a pigment, it's not going to leave with no gritty or with texture. You're going to be able to seal this with top coat, no problem. You won't have to worry too much about encapsulating it perfectly or anything like that because the pigment is very thin. Now, a very, very, very important tip when you start off, depending on your base coat, and then I'll just show you how reflective and thin the application is with these pigments. And it took you maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds on a nail. Once you master this, you're going to move rather quickly. So on the base, you want the base to be a little bit wet. And by that I mean cured but not fully cured. So if your base calls to be cured at 30 seconds, you might want to decrease that by 10 seconds. Make sure that your base is not fully cured. And the reason for that is because the more cure your base is, the less tacky it is. And so when you put it in the light, it's not going to pull the pigment sufficiently. So you might be able to wipe it off or brush it off, or when you put your top coat, there's not enough sunk into the base coat. So make sure it's wet so that it absorbs as much pigment as possible. And by wet, I mean not fully cured. So maybe pull back 10 seconds. You'll also notice when your base is wet, you'll notice that second color on some of those pigments pull in. So you'll see a little bit of orange here. And that's because again, our base is like semi-wet. And when it's semi-wet, it's going to start like dispersing or bleeding another color, a second color. So for all, the client knows, or people looking at your client's nails, you've created this gradient method using 2 colors. So let's move on to our emerald, which I found to be the prettiest, and do the same thing. Make sure you only saturate the tip. Do not saturate any other area of the nail. I'm gonna go a little higher with this one. So with the gold, I started very short, only at the tip and just a little bit in the center. With the mauve, I went a little higher, and with this emerald, I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher. Say your client comes every 4 to 5 months, weeks, then you might recommend that you want to go a little higher with your gradient, so that when the grow out happens, she gets to wear a sport her manicure for a longer period of time without the growth being too noticeable. So remember, if you need to pick up more pigment, only saturate the tip and then move it upwards. So fade it out towards the tip towards the cuticle area from the tip. Okay, I really like this one. It's multi-dimensional. It looks like you put a lot of work into it, but in reality you've only spent like 10-30 seconds per nail, and you will make about anywhere from $5 to $15 depending on how much you charge, and this is on top of your base service. So make sure your design is balanced, and once you're happy with one hand, you can go ahead and cure that and start on your next hand. You will need 2 layers of top coat. Make sure you use a top coat that you do not mind getting glitter or pigment on. The brand is not specific. Use whichever one you're comfortable with, and then use a good final top coat. Okay, that's it.